Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Macro Talk. Sorry about that little pause. Pressed the wrong button. We have new audio, and it's taken all weekend to get it working, so do tell me if you can hear me before I pull my hair out, what's left of it. So this is September the 2nd, and we have Macro Talk today. On Thursday, we have Macro Talk 2, where we're going to be doing the first of 3 episodes on coin photography. They get progressively more difficult as we go along, or more complicated anyway. We get into some of the real arcane stuff that those coin guys do. And then, let me see, on Saturday, After Stack, episode number 30, if you can believe it, with Bud and I. And that will be 10 o'clock on Saturday morning until noon. Any of you who have contacted me or mentioned to me that you were interested either in a microscope conversion for use as a high precision focus stacking rail, or a cross polarization viewer for your crystal photographs. If you're interested in either of those, you need to let me know now, even if you have let me know before, because my list is a complete mess. That was my list. I think I've got everybody down, but please, if you could leave me a message in the Walls app, that is www.walls-app.com. Just leave me a message, tell me exactly what it is you want so that I can send you a price list and we can work everything out from there. Okay? Good. Tonight we are doing the competition results from last month, which was August. And let me tell you, this was a very, very difficult competition to judge. Partly because I was doing it by myself, but partly because there are so many different ways to interpret what I was asking for. The theme, as you know, was microhabitat. And I'm going to have to really fly through this because we have almost, I think it's 30 entries. And I want to talk about all of them because I think they all deserve a mention. But in case you were wondering, I said this at the beginning of the month, and I'll say it again now, but a microhabitat, the way I interpret it, was a small, specialized environment within a larger habitat that provides unique living conditions for certain organisms. That's what a microhabitat is. So it's much smaller than a habitat. It can be millimeters across. It has distinct conditions. Maybe it's low oxygen or high winds or something, chemicals that you can only find there, but distinct conditions that allow those organisms to live. And it's biologically significant because it supports species of life stages that couldn't live anywhere else, like pond water, where a mosquito larva couldn't live anywhere else, couldn't live in my house, for example. That's what I mean by the key elements of a microhabitat. You're going to see lots and lots of examples. Some of these are very clear examples, and some of them are really a stretch to call them microhabitats. But I have been as generous as I possibly could to make sure that everybody who turned something in got credit for it. And we're going to show them all now, starting in no particular order with the worthy photographs, followed by the honorable mentions. And then we'll have the top 10 after that. So there are a lot to go through. And I've set it up so I hope they go pretty cleanly in one smooth showing, and I don't have to jump around dragging pictures. So we'll see what happens anyway. The first picture in the worthy category was from Gary Pannett. Now, this is one of 2 that he turned in, and forgive me, I forget the name. This was I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles, I think was the name of it, which is a song they sing at football games in the UK. But that's neither here nor there. This is a very nice image of a larva, a spittlebug larva living in a pool of spit on a plant. There is no doubt that this is a genuine microhabitat by any stretch, and the mass is created by the insect itself. It provides the bug with humidity, obviously, and shelter, protection, and it's kind of like a bird's nest to the thing, the nymph. But in this particular photograph and the one that follows, he turned in two of the same habitat. The habitat's there, but it's not really the star of the image. The star of the image is the spittlebug. That's what everybody is going to look at, and we'll look at the next one too, or maybe we won't. Let me see if I can get that to work. No, oh dear. We have a problem, Houston. Heavens above. This I wasn't. Let me see if this works. No. Okay, this is problematic because I don't have the pictures. Yes, I do. I have them somewhere else. What we're going to have to do is have me share a screen. This was working absolutely flawlessly the last 3 times I checked it. I have it. Maybe there is something else that I can do. Let me try this. There we go. That worked. Okay, so this is the second one, and it's exactly the same idea in that we have a gorgeous spittlebug living in his little microhabitat, but the star here is the bug. No question about it. Lovely photographs, though, and the emphasis is on that nymph, and that is not what the contest called for. And you'll see as we go along why this is so important. The subject was excellent. The photographs are excellent. I really like them. Next is from, nope, that didn't do it either. Katie Willis. Katie Willis turned in this photograph, and I'm sorry I don't have the names in front of me. Some of them, but not all of them. This is a lovely photograph of a bee at work, no doubt. And the emphasis, unfortunately, is obviously on the bee, even though the flower itself is a microhabitat. It's got all kinds of things living in it, spiders, mites, you name it. The image isn't telling that story. The image is telling the story of the bee. So while this is certainly a very pretty picture, it's not going to end up in the top 10 today. All right, next up from Nick Parker. This is a theme that is going to be repeated throughout this competition. I am allowing the spider's web as a microhabitat for several reasons. Even though it's really probably more of a specialized foraging tool for the spider, we'll call it a habitat because it hangs out on that, it catches its food in that, it eats in that, and that, I guess, could qualify as a microhabitat. But there is no doubt that in this photograph, the star of the show is the spider, not the habitat that surrounds him. In fact, in this particular one, it's kind of hard to see the web at all. So while there is a microhabitat in this picture, it's not the star of the show, and that's what we're looking for. Next up is from Nils Hagen, and this is Dancing on Thistles. As you can see, it's a pretty dark picture, and calling the plant itself a microhabitat is a bit of a stretch, but it is a nice composition, and the bug is really the star of this show. It's what your eye is drawn to. So this is definitely a worthy image because it beautifully captures the detail of the plant bug. But here the thistle that he's crawling around on functions more as a stage for the bug than it does the center of the picture, the thing that draws our attention. So for the theme, we were looking for the habitat to be the star, the environment that supports a whole community, not just a passing visitor. This plant bug would be just as happy on any other plant, so it kind of is a stretch to call it home. All right, another worthy mention goes to another of Nils Hagen's pictures. This one is Gosh, All Mine, I believe, or It's All Mine. I wish I'd copied down the actual names of the pictures. I do apologize for that, but this is a bug on some berries. The problems here are not that this could not be construed as a microhabitat. I think that's fair enough. The problem is more the photographic composition. The bug, even though it's not the star, is kind of out of the picture and not presented very well. It's a little bit out of focus, as are the front and the back of the berry cluster. So I think it could probably support the theme of microhabitat. It didn't all come together, and that was problematic, I think, for this one. It was a good idea, and with a little bit more composition, it probably could have done the job. All right, let me see. Next one up. This one is from Maria Rodriguez. This is a jumping spider. Unfortunately, while the jumping spider doesn't actually appear to be in his microhabitat, which would be kind of hard to call. Most of these things live under bark and on trees, and this is on a stem of something for sure. But it's a stretch to say that the star of this show is the stick. It's obviously the gorgeous spider, which is unfortunately slightly out of focus. The eyes are pretty sharp, but everything else is pretty soft. I love the colors. I love the way it's been composed. A little bit more, well, no, I do love the way it's composed. It's a clever picture. Didn't quite nail it for the theme, but well done nonetheless. All right, next up in the worthy mentions is this from Susan Seaford. And congratulations, Susan, for getting an entry in. I know it's a real challenge for you at this time with everything that's going on, but I love the terrarium. That is a really clever idea. The entry kind of reminds us that microhabitats can not only be discovered, but they can be created. And this is a good example of that. I have one of these also in my living room. And you can see the soil, moss, and ferns and plants all nested together in the terrarium there. And while we don't see the inhabitants of the terrarium, we know they're there. These things are absolutely filled with soil fauna and insects and all kinds of things. You could spend hours and hours looking at them and photographing them. So I really appreciate that you did this, that you made this from a photographic point of view, possibly zooming in a little bit, maybe cutting out the edges of the terrarium would focus our attention more on the contents of the terrarium and probably help get rid of some of the reflections. But nevertheless, a worthy entry, and thank you, Susan, for that. Next up, Ingolf Kuntz has an interesting photograph. I love the photograph. I like the subtlety of the colors and the kind of uniform tone throughout the picture, and it does show a rather active spider shot, spider eating some kind of winged insect, which is great. And again, I've said that we're calling the web a suitable microhabitat, and I think it probably is under some circumstances, being very generous. But in this particular case, the web is functioning kind of like a constructed microhabitat, supporting the spider and even dictating how the prey is going to be caught, which I like. But the focus here really falls on the inhabitant. It's on the spider. That's all you're going to look at. So while this is a strong and dramatic picture, no doubt, it's really only loosely aligned with the theme that we set for this month. Nice picture, though. Next up is from Wilf Meyer. Now, this is much closer to what we're talking about. These creatures that you can see, first of all, there's a bunch of different creatures around in here. I don't think you can see my pointer, but anyway, there are spiders and ants and gosh, I saw some thrips in there, I think. So this is a true microhabitat. The conditions within this head of this flower are quite distinct from the conditions outside of it. And this is where that spider will spend its whole life living and hunting. So it's definitely acceptable to call this a microhabitat, and you kind of paint a picture of an active microhabitat with real organisms living in it, and more than one species. So I think this is a successful picture. The plant itself, I don't know if it would have helped to have the front of the thing more in focus. Probably not. But by and large, it's a successful picture, and certainly this one is one of our honorable mentions, by the way, which should begin now. Next up, from Pierre Soreau, another honorable mention. This is it's a big bunch of larvae. I think they are firebug nymphs. Actually, they're nasty little creatures, but it's a very interesting photograph. You cannot argue that they are in a microhabitat. That's for sure. They live in leaf litter and under bark, and they are in their microhabitat. But gosh, I'm not sure that anybody could see the microhabitat to know what it was for the profusion of the bugs. This is another one that this dense aggregation of nymphs dominates the frame. That's the photograph. That's all people are going to look at. And it would be a stretch to say that the star of this picture was the microhabitat that they were in. It's a looser interpretation of the theme. I'm certainly going to give it to you as being on the theme. But again, the star of the picture is not the habitat itself. There are a few technical issues with the picture, mostly related to lighting. You've got quite a few specular highlights scattered through there, and that's a little distracting. But by and large, otherwise, it's a good photograph, worthy of an honorable mention. All right. Another honorable mention goes to last month's winner, or was it last month? I can't remember. Rashid Al-Samati. This is a lovely shot of a spider. It's real sharp, well executed. And in this case, it really does show the web as a microhabitat. It really does. You can see that the way it's capturing water drops, that this is an environment that is going to be, in many respects, very different to the environment outside of the web. And this spider will spend most of its life in here, pouncing on things and eating them. This one actually it gets an honorable mention, but didn't make it further up the list, partly because of the pictures that we're getting ready to see, but also I was a little put off by the large expanse of out-of-focus greenery in the bottom right-hand corner. I think it detracted a lot from the overall feel of the picture. By and large, though, successful, really very nice, and we're getting closer and closer to what I was looking for. So let's look at our next honorable mention. This one is from Nick Parker, and it's in a terrarium. This piece of bark or wood, whatever it is sitting in a terrarium, and it is truly a microhabitat. There's no question about it. This is a solid picture of the microhabitat itself. It's a mossy patch, and in reality, this thing under the microscope is absolutely teeming with life. But because we can't see them, it kind of makes the habitat the star of the show, which is what we're looking for. But it would have been stronger if there was some hint of the community that was in there, maybe a couple of accidental springtails or something else like that, to show us that there is actually life in there. Because remember, you're trying to communicate what a microhabitat is through your picture. You're trying to tell a story about this particular microhabitat, and it falls a little flat if we can't see what's living in there. So a great idea, great execution. You've controlled the light very well. The focus is mostly good. It drops off a little bit at the back, but all in all, a successful shot. And but for the lack of context for the microhabitat, I think it would have done better. Amy Furman has a very fascinating picture called Black and Purple. Now, the problem here is one of biology. The photograph I love. I love the single focal plane shot that catches the ant's eye perfectly. It's a lovely depiction of the ant. I think it's very, very successful. The fact that it also catches most of this floret in nice outline is also very pleasant. The problem is it's a strong image of a foraging, hunting ant, but it's not a strong image of its microhabitat. In fact, this flower is not a microhabitat for this ant. It's a microhabitat for lots of other things, but it's more of a food source, a hunting ground. And they don't live here; they live in their nest. So for our theme, we're looking for spaces that organisms occupy and depend on as a place to live. But in this case, the ant's just kind of passing through. A great picture of that passing through, but not quite on the theme. All right. Next honorable mention. This is high on the list of honorable mentions because it is a spectacular picture of, I think, what is a blue-banded bee. It really is gorgeous. And unfortunately, because it's so gorgeous, nobody's going to pay any attention to the flowers on the left that it's flying towards. The bee is obviously the star of this show. It's what we're all looking at and oohing and ahhing over, whereas in reality, what we would really like to see would be the flower as the microhabitat, where we could see mites and thrips or whatever else was living in the thing. But it's and I didn't say who the photographer was. Excuse me. It's Utham Methsara, and I'm sorry if I'm sure I butchered your name there. But so the picture can be interpreted as a microhabitat. I'll buy that, but I don't think without something like more inhabitants to tell us what else is living there, that it really comes forward as the star of the show. Right now, it's just something the bee is flying towards. But your picture of the bee is absolutely spectacular. I hope you have more of those to submit in other competitions that we do, like flying insects, because that's really nice. Okay, we are rapidly approaching our top 10, but I am going to need to count them back the way so I don't mess up the numbering on this. All of this was notes that I've been taking since 5 o'clock this morning. I was so impressed with these pictures that I forgot to write down the actual names. You know what I could do, if possibly I could do without messing things up, is just open my website. Yeah, that was easy. So let me see. That was by Utham Methsara, as I said. And next up, we have this cluster of bees on the end of a twig. Now, this is an impressive picture for many reasons. And I'll tell you what they are in just a second, as soon as I can find out who took the picture. This is terrible. I should have... It's Maria Rodriguez again. And this one is A Shared Silence. It's a fascinating shot of a cluster of presumably sleeping bees. And I'm gonna call this particular shot out for special consideration. I had to do some research, but there are plenty of entomologists who would actually call this cluster of bees a microhabitat for support of several kinds of microscopic creatures that live within that bundle of bees when they're clustered together like this. I believe it really is a stretch, but if Maria, if you were deliberately trying to outsmart me on this, you did, because I never really thought of this as a microhabitat until I was trying to figure out what you were getting at with the picture. But I think it is pretty clever to do that. If that was what you were up to, it's just not what I was expecting to see. But really, it is when you think about it. There are creatures that live inside that bundle of vibrating bees that couldn't live anywhere else. But it seems a bit temporary and a bit of a stretch. But nonetheless, definitely worthy of an honorable mention. Now, I am going to open up one other window that you can't see, which has one other important document in it that I need so I get this right. And I just found it. Brilliant. Okay, and we're going to go to the next photograph, which is Yum Yum by Jesus Mangiano, is it? Or, yeah, let me not butcher that name as well. But this is a lovely picture, actually. It's a lichen, of course, and it's a classic microhabitat that supports just a vast array of organisms that you can't see. Just really tremendous microhabitat, and one that we macro photographers frequently harvest for that very reason. The image is definitely making the habitat the star, no doubt about it, but again, without any kind of visible inhabitants, the story of the microhabitat seems a little incomplete. It is definitely an elegant picture. I love the colors. It's sharply in focus. It's interestingly composed, but it's not quite exactly what you would want if you were going to tell the story of a microhabitat. Now, let me see. I do believe that the next picture. Let me see. This is also from Mr. Mangiano, Jesus Mangiano. This is My Tiny Roof Forest, which is the last of our honorable mentions. Now, this really is a gorgeous picture. It's a patch of moss, and it is absolutely a microhabitat. Moss is one of the more well-recognized microhabitats. The composition, the detail, very, very appealing. The light, everything about it is a deep and rich photograph of this organism. But again, unfortunately, there aren't any visible inhabitants. So it remains kind of a little bit of guesswork for the viewer to say what lives there. It's hard to describe a microhabitat without giving a clue as to what's in there. Of course, we know what it is. It's all the wonderful things like tardigrades that we harvest this stuff for, but without the inhabitants, it's a little hard to tell the story. Next up, in position number 10. Nope, I think I spoke too soon. No, I didn't. It is number 10. This lovely picture from Amy, and this one is really clever. Amy Furman did this, and she has very successfully captured a microhabitat that is the star of the show. The bug and the title, which is I Do Bite, is the name of it. I think that's an assassin bug or an assassin bug nymph, is not the star of this show, not for me. The most important feature of this photograph is the colors and the textures of the petals of this plant. It's a lovely abstract picture. I love the soft, defocused areas and the way that the colors just play off one another so beautifully. I think that this is a very successful picture and a unique way of looking at a background and making it the feature of the photograph. The bug is also cute and interesting and worth a look, but my eyes are not drawn to the bug. Primarily, they're drawn to the lovely curving lines and the diagonals across the page. I think this is a very successful picture, Amy, and I really like it. It was going out on a limb, definitely, to try something different like this, but it was very successful. Well done. Next up, in position number 9. I love this picture. This is a really clever study. This is a family. It's a family of aphids. Then it's not really a family, like a mum, dad, and the baby at the bottom there. But it gives the feel of a busy microhabitat, and certainly you can call this plant stem a microhabitat because, for crying out loud, this family of aphids is going to live their entire life on this one stem. So it's just a very good example of a microhabitat, even though it's shot in a very spare and simple way. It kind of hints at the rest of the thing. I've got pictures of aphids crawling up these big tall stems where there are millions of them, and that's interesting, but it doesn't have the story that this one does. I think it's very, very clever, and the fact that we're looking at a microhabitat that's probably a centimeter or two long is fascinating. This is a beautifully composed picture too. I love this type of picture where we kind of know what's going on above and below, but we don't see it. We fill that in. It's thematically strong. It's about as good a contender as we've seen so far of a true microhabitat picture. Well worthy of position number, what did I say? 9, I believe, Life on a Stem. Number 8. I really, really like this clever picture that Alan Rechtenwald submitted. This is a phone picture, which it's not common that phone pictures make it this far, but this one is worthy for several reasons. First of all, the title, Tales of Spring Cleaning. That is a brilliant title, of course, because this is a spring tail living in this cup, this fungal cup, and Tales of Spring Cleaning. You just have to think about it and you'll see what a clever play on words that is. Anyway, this is a fascinating picture of a springtail that is crawling around, or poking around at least, in a crucibulum fruiting body. Yeah, crucibulum. Is that not a brilliant word? The crucibulum and the springtail both live in the same microhabitat, which is wet, dark, and the fungus itself is part of the microhabitat as well as one of the inhabitants of it. The peridium, which is this outer part, the cup-shaped thing, it looks like a bird's nest, which is, of course, why this is called the bird's nest fungus. But the thing is really brilliant in how it spreads its spores. If you're not familiar with this thing grows in places that are wet and drippy. And what are they called? The peridopores, I think, are these round egg-shaped things that the springtail appears to be sunbathing on. These spore balls, they sit there. They're independent from the cup, the peridium, but when raindrops land in this cup, it blows the spore packets out of the nest, out of the peridium, and they fall to the ground where they stick to whatever they can find, and then the spores rupture from the sac, and you get a new organism. So that's what this thing is, and it's just fascinating because it is both a microhabitat for the springtails, because springtails love these things. They live in them, they eat the spores, and you'll hardly ever find one of these without springtails associated with it. So this is just a clever, complicated, interesting picture that I couldn't stop looking at. And I've never seen a springtail with his arms held out like that. If they're his arms, I have no idea. But it's a lovely picture. Well done. Let me see. At number 7, this is a lava. This is Tom Bigalski's photograph, and it is first class because of several reasons. This is duckweed, the green stuff. And it's beautifully represented in this photograph. And on the duckweed is a larva of something. Don't know what it is. It's but it could be anything as far as I'm concerned. But the idea is that this thing is underwater, or it's actually at the top, at the surface of the water. But I think this is being photographed from beneath. I can't quite tell, but either way. It's a complicated capture to get this picture of the larva from the top, from above its head, as it moves among the leaves of the duckweed. It's just beautiful, and you can zoom in to several 100% and see lots and lots of detail on the larva as well as on the duckweed. The colors work beautifully. It's a very well composed image with lots and lots of interesting detail, and it is absolutely the habitat that sings out in this photograph. It's the duckweed. The little larva is interesting and certainly worth a closer look, but not the star. It's the little duckweed leaflets down at the bottom that draw my attention. Absolutely beautiful. Next up at number 6, I believe, is Grain Store Raider by Roy Walker. Now, Roy has learned the secret superpower of putting weevils in photographs if you want them to do well, and this is not going to disappoint him. Though it is not actually the weevil that wins this place in the proceedings. This is a grain store with some rotten corn, by the looks of it, that's got fungus and what have you growing on it. And it creates a very distinct microhabitat for several insects. And one of them would be a weevil. They would be drawn to this kind of habitat, and they would live their whole lives here, raising their offspring. So this is very much, it's both a pleasing photograph with a fascinating story tied to it, and a clear and attention-drawing microhabitat. The weevil is gorgeous, but not the star of the show. I think that this is a very good example of what a microhabitat should look like if we're making it front and center. So excellent. In position number 5, and you're going to love this one. Let me say before I show you this picture that the top 5 of these pictures were absolutely what I was looking for. They were exactly the flavor that I thought should win. So first of all, Gillian Davis, called Tiny Wanderer. This is a superb photograph. It's a lichen, obviously, with exquisite detail throughout. The blend of colors and textures in and out of focus are just wonderful. It's a beautifully shot, beautifully lit photograph. The lichen here is the star of the show and is the habitat, no doubt. It's complex and rich, has all these textures and colors. The slug is there to kind of remind us that stuff lives here. But you would never think that slug was the attention-drawing piece of this photograph. Very interesting, very charming little creature, but secondary to the color and the pizzazz of the lichen. Very, very nice photograph, and I will tell you that this was a really strong contender for the top 3 spots, but ended up getting beaten out by a couple of really, really good photographs. So very nice, Gillian. This is a winner for sure. Something that would look nice on a wall. So let's get to the next one, which is really a lovely photograph. This is by Mike Frederick, and it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. A single teeny weeny little mushroom. I believe it was, let me see, a 1 centimeter high marasmius, which presumably is that mushroom, growing in a dead tree or a rotting stump. And it captures the whole thing. It's just lovely. It's a textbook example of a microhabitat. A rotting piece of wood in the forest is what would probably be in the dictionary under microhabitat. The mushroom is the most visible inhabitant, and certainly a gorgeous example of one. But the habitat itself is the star. In some ways, you could call the mushroom part of the habitat, because it too has residents living on and eating it. So it's just a beautifully, richly textured photograph with lots of interesting things to look at, lots of very cool detail. But at the end of the day, it's conceptually just spot on for a habitat photograph. And yeah, this was one I didn't have to struggle with. Okay, now next up at number 3. Have we already got to 3rd place? This is a name you're going to be familiar with because this gentleman has turned in some spectacular photographs. But this one is really special. This is Roy Walker's ground rust, Puccinia legenophoria, or something like that. It's a rust. But this is a rust in close-up, and it's really a stunning photograph. For one thing, it's showing me stuff that I haven't seen before. This is a truly hidden world. If you're not familiar with rusts, they're very simple fungus, fungoid creatures, and this one is of genus Puccinia. The microhabitat is microscopic itself. It's the surface of a leaf, and that makes it quite special. Having the fungus, which is kind of parasitic to the leaf, builds its own colonies on the leaf and creates this whole world. The orange things that you're looking at, they are the individual cells of the rust, and the tunnels. They've got a name for those things. I can't remember what they are, but yeah, it's the picture just says it all. Again, it's a wonderful example of a microhabitat that you might not even have known exists. The idea that somebody would submit a microscopic type relationship like this was also worthy of some additional points, because that was a risky thing to do. But this is a beautiful photograph of a rust, much nicer than any others that I've seen before. So very nice. It's artistic, and it's abstract, and it's a serious biological picture. But yeah, this is a beautiful one. So congratulations to Roy Walker. That means we only have 2 photographs left. And I'm going to start sounding a bit like a broken record here. At number 2, Klaus Galois. How could you have thought this would be from anybody else? This is a remarkable picture. It's showing probably the most recognizable microhabitat, the rotten log, which is a host to so many different creatures. But here we're seeing the microhabitat for what it really is. It's a busy, industrious place where all kinds of things come together to live. And that includes the springtails all over the place, as well as the tiny little beetle, which is incredibly cute and incredibly well photographed. And then what at first appeared to be some kind of thrip or other microscopic bark-dwelling creature turns out, in fact, to be the fruiting bodies of a slime mold, the white things in the middle. And that just adds so much to the story of this picture. This feels like a metropolitan microhabitat where all kinds of things are milling around, going about their business, which is exactly what this photograph shows. It's amazing to have representatives of different animal kingdoms living in the same patch of rotting wood. I think that is brilliant to have arthropods and protists rubbing shoulders in this habitat that serves both their needs. And needless to say, the quality of the image is just through the roof. It is so beautifully done. The transition from in to out of focus is very nicely accomplished. Altogether, a beautiful photograph, not something I am surprised to see coming from Klaus Galois, that's for sure. But this one's a masterpiece of ecology and storytelling. And it just embodies the whole microhabitat theme almost as well as the next photograph. Has anybody guessed what the next photograph might be? Did any of you look at these pictures ahead of time and try to figure out? I must say that this next one deserves a special round of applause. You know who it's from, of course. Once again, Graham Carey has done it with this photograph. I'll give you just a second to look at it and enjoy it, because it is a masterpiece. This is the very essence of what I was looking for. The very essence. I could not have taken a photograph myself, and I was the one that set the theme that showed it as well as this. This single droplet of water is, of course, the microhabitat, which is, of course, the absolute star of this picture. It's what your eyes are drawn directly to. And it's hinted that a drop of water in the forest would have life in it of some kind. But when you look closer, and you have to look way closer, this is one of those Easter eggs that I wasn't expecting to see. It suddenly caught my attention that there was at least 3 different organisms living in that drop of water. What looks like a mosquito larva, along with a couple of other things. I'm not sure what they are. But this is the absolute quintessential microhabitat. A drop of water on the end of a leaf. And the composition of the photograph is quite breathtaking. I mean, it's so well balanced. All of your attention is drawn through the photograph to that water droplet and deeper into the water droplet as you look. It is a masterpiece of clarity and beauty and drama, because you know that drop of water is going to fall off of there, and you know what's going to happen to that microhabitat. So you're finding out that the drop is actually alive and full of life. Was what sealed the deal for me. So Mr. Carey is a very unique photographer in that he is incredibly intellectual when it comes to coming up with these photographs, because this one was not even something I could have imagined. It's so clever and so well done. So congratulations, many congratulations, Graham. You continue to stun us with your amazing photography, and certainly have given everybody a target to aim for. I'm not even going to try. Absolutely fantastic, and the same goes for everybody that submitted a picture. I'm impressed with all of them. I mean, you guys are amazing. I honestly thought if we got 10 pictures of microhabitats, that I would have exceeded my expectations, because I thought this was a very, very difficult theme. And it was a very difficult theme, but there were so many really clever interpretations of the theme and beautifully executed photographs to go with it. So congratulations to everybody, but many congratulations to our top 10, to Gillian and Alan. And let me see, we had Tom was in there, and Mike. Mike, I'm not sure we have met. Maybe we have, but great picture. Well done. And let me see, I feel like I just forgot to name somebody. Amy, did I mention? I mentioned Amy. So, yeah, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff. Now, I'm going to run over to see what the comments might be, if anybody is still here. So what do you think? Do you agree with me on the general order of these? I hope you do. You may be wondering who my guest judge was this month. It was nobody. It was the guy that sits on my shoulder. It was just me. I left it too late to ask, and then the people I wanted to ask had all submitted pictures. So it didn't work out this time. This month, the month of September, the competition theme is action. And if you have any question about what I might be talking about, you might want to look at my blog post from Monday. I published that yesterday, and I give some examples of what I mean. And again, there are subtleties in here. It's just like with the microhabitat. There are things that would qualify as action, but probably not score as well as others. And I tell you what those differences are. And that's over on Discord, or it's over on www.alanwallsphotography.com/blog. It's the most recent posting. That may be helpful to you. So lots and lots of comments. Let me see. Not just a whole lot of chit-chat, but Tom's here. Congratulations, Tom. Amy's here. Well done. Susan's here. Well done, Susan. So the winners must have known that that they were going to be up there. Let me see. Laura is here, which is nice to see Laura visiting again. Good to have you. And Joseph, interesting theory. I put it down to being a competition results video. I've noticed a lot of the regulars skip those. Have you really? I have not noticed that. I thought people like that. But maybe it's the day after a holiday. Or maybe, yeah. But I didn't mention the pools of water on the top of the leaf. No, I didn't. I was so drawn to the drop at the bottom. But yeah, many congratulations. And Amy was expecting lots and lots of microscope pictures. But yeah, there weren't any, were there? And Paul says, lovely shot, Graham, bravo. Does Joseph wants to know if action includes explosions. We'll say probably. Oh yeah, go ahead. You can turn in an explosion picture. I'll accept that from you. Yeah. So not the. Oh, how was the sound, by the way? Is the microphone working any better? I did spend a lot of time trying to get it all figured out to where it would sound better, but you know, I'm not a sound engineer. I fired my sound engineer 7 years ago. We have been at this for 7 years. It's 1,000 hours of content, 300 hours of Pazoom. We had a great Pazoom at the weekend, for those of you who could make it. Very interesting and enjoyable. And yeah, don't forget, if you're interested in getting a microscope conversion done, I have written a detailed piece on how you do that. Not how you convert your microscope, but how you send one to me to convert, so that you don't waste your money and you get the job done as quickly as you need to. In that, I point out that there are only 2 microscopes right now that I'm doing conversions for. And one of those is Nikon AWPhot 2. That's LABOPHOT 2. That is one of the better microscopes because it has a fine focus control than does the Olympus, the BH2, which is the other microscope that I'll convert. The BH2 has a travel of the stage of 200 microns per turn of the fine focus knob, whereas the Nikon has 100. Every time you turn the knob, the thing only moves 100, so you can incrementally double the accuracy of the steps. Not that that matters because we're micro-stepping with fancy motors and everything, but if you're interested in one of those, be sure to go over to the Walls app and let me know that you're interested, and I will send you, and give me your email address, and I will send you the price list and the instructions on how to get one of these things. If you're interested in one of the cross polarizers, I am getting ready to order all the materials I need to make a batch of those, and I need to know how many people want them before I do that. And that's all you need to do. I will send you the price list for both the viewer and the microscope thing. Okay, we are about out of time. Let me see if there are any other comments. Joseph's talking about a probe lens. Whatever happened to the show database? What show database? Was that one of mine? Don't know. Oh, whatever happened to the back catalog listing? Well, to be honest, it got out of hand. It was too much information that I had volunteers working with me on it, and I'm so grateful to everybody who did. And we got lots and lots of information, but it turned out to be the opposite of what I needed to draw it all together into a searchable index. I am working with my AI assistant to try to get a better database put together, but it is so difficult because of the number of videos and the complexity of all the topics. Everything overlaps, but I one of these days, maybe before my 10th anniversary. Okay, guys. Actually, I think Joseph's talking about the expense and difficulty of replacing parts. A lot of the parts I have already found sources for, but there are some of the parts that I've discovered are can be fashioned here in my shop. So, a damaged microscope is not necessarily out of the question for the focus block. What we'll do is you'll let me know what you've got, and then we'll discuss it. Okay, we're out of time. It's 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for coming. And Thursday, coin photography, number 1, the fundamentals. It's going to be good. It'll be good whether you take pictures of photographs or not, because we're going to talk about all kinds of technical stuff in the studio. I will see you then, and if not then, Saturday for After Stack. Have a good evening, and thank you so much for coming. Good night.